Welcome to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast, where it's all about helping you complete your financial journey to retirement. Discover time-tested strategies and get unconventional insights into wealth building and retirement that actually work. Break away from the herd and go for the retirement you dream of. And now, here's your host, the income engineer, Kraig Strom.
All right, back on Personal Pension Radio. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for the download. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. I love that this show goes out all over the world. I have listeners actually that download this show on the other side of the globe. That is fantastic. Of course, most of my listeners are in the grand old United States, from east to west coast, but it is exciting sometimes to look at my download history and to see downloads, all the way to Europe and beyond. Fantastic. That is correct. You heard it. I am the income engineer. I am a certified financial planning professional with a passion and a specialty for retirement income design, lifestyle design after you retire or after you sell a business. My mission is to really help wrap up and deliver the retirement dream that Wall Street has been advertising and marketing for, 3 decades. But unfortunately, Wall Street is really having a hard time delivering the retirement dream, that maximum income, secure lifestyle dream, because they only teach half the retirement story. They only teach half of the retirement journey, if you will, because the retirement journey is 2 parts. It is up the mountain, saving and accumulating and building assets, and then down the mountain, which is spending your assets and making them last and getting that maximum income out of those assets without running out of money. Wall Street teaches the accumulation side of the retirement equation perfectly. Really, you do have to save. Let me back that up. Perfectly? Because if they taught the accumulation side perfectly, they wouldn't miss out on the proper arrangement of your financial assets. That's the key that's missing. That there is no one product, or Wall Street would like you to believe that if you invest in their, pooled investments this and invest in that, then you just, accumulation is the solution to the entire retirement plan, which it is not. Products do not solve the maximum retirement income equation. You've got to have a balance between everything that might be there in your world. Things like investments, insurance, reverse mortgages someday to deal with real estate. You've got to have your 401k and your Roth and all your various IRAs. You've got to have them balanced correctly. And you heard me say it, and I'm going to talk about it again today. It comes up so many times. I can't believe how important it is. And financial planners and financial advisors, and especially financial entertainers, botch it all the time. It's life insurance. Life insurance needs to be balanced into this retirement planning equation. And if it's not, maximum retirement income will be far more difficult to achieve. That's a fact. Folks, it's just economics. That if you don't have your financial assets and your financial tools balanced correctly, maximum retirement income it's virtually impossible to hit that maximum number. I want to help you pull back that curtain on this mainstream Wall Street advice so that you can ask the right questions. Ask the questions and dig into this for you in your specific situation. Now, I would love to be the financial planner that's helping you do that. So if you want to get in touch with me, if you're listening to this and you're going, man, this guy's passionate about retirement income planning, he's passionate about my financial situation, you are correct. I am. Send me an email, Kraig@kraigstrom.com. That's Kraig @kraigstrom.com. Most advisors today, remember, have been educated by the same machine that taught me the messaging that worked best for the financial institutions. The message was save more money. The answer to retirement planning is save more money. The advice was always the same. Save, save, save. It's incomplete, folks. I'm here to tell you that there is another side of the retirement income planning conversation that most financial advisors are completely missing, right? So when you're looking at this conversation, it is far deeper than just simply, someday I will retire, right? I should find a retirement planning expert. Well, I am that guy, but a lot of folks will ask me, what else do we do? What do you do with clients, Kraig? What kind of things do you help with? Well, I help with a wide variety of things because it is a comprehensive conversation, that journey towards retirement. And I cover things that will involve IRAs, Roth IRAs, 401ks, SEP IRAs, IRA rollovers, investment account review. Folks, I haven't spoken of this in a while. I'll touch on it briefly right now. If you haven't had an efficiency analysis, a portfolio review done on your investments to really make sure that you're not overspending on fees, that you actually have real diversification. If you haven't had that review done and you're just blindly letting your investment portfolio just sit there, here's your offer. I will go through and do an investment account review with you for free. You can decide what to do with it. Yes, I would love to work with you. I'd love to have the opportunity to be your investment account advisor, but I'm going to offer it, as I always do, to make sure that no matter what, you have the opportunity to know the path you're on. That's the key. You've got to know the path you're on. I also help clients with new and existing 401k plans. I also, this is a big one, I help clients with life insurance planning. Both cash value and term insurance. Both. Because I believe that life insurance has a purpose and a reason in most good financial plans. Life insurance, both term and cash value, should be in there, but it needs to be done right. Disability insurance. We're out there paying for insurance on our cars. We pay for insurance on our lives. We get insurance for all kinds of things. Get insurance for your paycheck. I help people with disability insurance because that's exactly what that is. It's insurance for the paycheck that pays for everything, folks. That's the key. It's insurance for the bottom line lifestyle that you're living and the bills that you're paying today. That, and if you're in that market, I do long-term care planning. Insurance, investments, reverse mortgage, etc. All of that goes into long-term care planning. Now, quick disclosure though, I am not an attorney. I am not a CPA. I am a certified financial planner professional. But don't act on the advice or the things that you think are advice on my show. And especially, please, don't act on the advice that you hear from financial entertainers like Dave Ramsey giving out advice in 30-second sound bites. Don't act on things that he or other financial entertainers say as if it is actionable advice. Please meet with a qualified financial planner. I'd love that planner to be me, but goodness me, meet with a certified financial planner, someone who has put in the effort to actually go through a 2-day, 10-hour-long test, like the bar exam for financial planners. Somebody that's really put in the effort to be a financial planner. And that's me. Pick me, pick me. I raise my hand on that. But because it's not just 2 days and 10 hours. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of ongoing education and work to be a certified financial planner. So please, before you act on anything, get out there and meet with a certified financial planner. Now, I want to start off this week with watch your step. Right? Last week, on last episode, actually, I talked about the markets are crazy. Please be careful before you jump into investments. Consult with an investment advisor, preferably a certified financial planner, again, right? But here's the thing. This week, it actually ties right back in. Thanks to a client and a listener, Tim. Hello there, Tim. Thank you for this and this inspiration for this segment. If you have, now, let me back up, folks. I don't want to miss the importance of what I just said. Last episode, I talked about markets being crazy. before you jump into any investment, real estate or stocks or whatever it is, please take a quick second to take a back up and really just think about it, right? Because this ties into Tim's question. He's a listener and he's a client, okay? If you have credit card debt, stop putting money in your 401k or any other investment. Did you hear me? If you have a large amount of credit card debt where you're paying 9, 10, 11, 12, 20% interest, stop putting money in your 401k or any other investment. Stop now and pay down the credit card debt as fast as you can. If some of you think, Kraig sounds a lot like Dave Ramsey right now, that's okay. This is one of those areas that Big Dave and I totally agree on. If you're sitting on a 9% or a 20% credit card, why would you keep putting money in your 401k? Are you really earning 20% in your 401k? Even if you get an employer match, are you really getting 10%, 20% earnings? No, you are not. You are not getting any kind of a rate of return that makes sense that you continue to pay 10, 15, 20% interest on your credit cards, right? But Kraig, I get the match. So, do they give you a 12% match? Of course they don't. Pay down your credit cards, right? If you pay down the credit cards, that interest that you're saving is a guaranteed 12% effective rate of return. Seriously, you just saved 12%, guaranteed effective 12% right there, rate of return, because you're not paying the 12% anymore. And when you consider that all of the current buzz is that late 2019 or 2020 is our next scheduled recession, most of any contributions that you put in right now could be lost anyway, right? Whether it's the match money or your personal contribution, you could just lose it. So you put in money into your 401k while you're paying minimums or smaller amounts on your credit cards. And then the stock market, let's say, takes a nice dive for a little bit in a recession, and you wipe out all the contributions you made to your 401k, and yet you're still paying 10 or 15% interest on your credit cards. Okay? So please, watch your step. And what I mean by that in this case is Wall Street's answer to everything is invest, 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 invest. Well, stop. If you've got $20,000 of credit card debt, $10,000, $5,000, if you've got $3,000, if you've got $1,000, it doesn't matter what the number is, you're paying more in interest than you're currently on track to earn in any 401k contribution. Please pay down those credit cards, folks. Outstanding question. And that question came in from listener Tim. Really appreciate that, because that is an excellent example of where to focus your attention when we're talking about getting up your retirement mountain, right? Accumulation doesn't happen strictly with savings. You've got to have a plan. Knocking down that credit card debt is going to give you this awesome opportunity to then take all of that money and effort that you're putting into the credit cards and then just start jumping in on the 401k. And it's very likely that if you pause now on the 401k and attack the credit card debt, it's very likely that the markets, the investment markets, could actually be in a recessionary point of time when you start plowing money back into them and you go in on the lower side of that market. So that could work out well as in addition. So that's my Watch Your Step segment. Please keep that in mind. Get rid of that credit card debt. Now, in the last segment 2, I talked about my observations as it related to protection and savings and growth. This idea that if you're going to build a financial house, why not build it like a good old-fashioned castle? You build it with a wide moat of protection. You build it with a strong foundation of liquidity, cash on hand, and then you grow with investments, etc., right? And I shared last week this story of Rebecca, who was saved many months of grief, right? Settling her mother's estate because her mom had a living trust. Please protect yourself and your family from the misery of going through the probate system to settle your estate. If you love your kids, get a living trust in place. Stop putting this off. I can help. I actually work as a paralegal as part of the one of the hats that I wear through the fantastic law firm that I work with. I can help you get your living trust and your estate planning docs in place. We work with clients all over the country. So please send me an email, Kraig at kraigstrom.com. Just say living trust in your subject line, and I'm happy to help. I'll talk you through it. I'll tell you how it all works. And then if you want us to help you, I'll take you through that process as well. Now, this week has a specific theme, okay? So this week has a specific theme. On the last episode, I had also talked about protecting your family by putting the right amount of life insurance in place, right? In the last episode, I told you about a family that I saw having a car wash at a funeral home to pay for the funeral of their loved one, right? And then after I had published the last episode, I sat down for a bowl of cereal in the morning. I get up early, usually 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And one of the very first things that I saw as I thought, I'll just scroll through Facebook, right? I usually will read a magazine or I'll do something where I'll take a quick look at Facebook. I don't spend a ton of time on there, but this morning, that particular morning, I said, I'm going to take a look at my Facebook feed. The first post that caught my eye was a GoFundMe post asking for money to help a family. The father had died suddenly and left behind a wife and 3 daughters. This father appeared to be, maybe in his late 30s at the most, early 40s. Wonderful looking wife, wonderful looking daughters left behind, and they've got a GoFundMe page to help this widow and 3 kids. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Really? The GoFundMe page is essentially the car wash of today. That how in the world is this father? And I am calling out every father and mother listening to this podcast. If you're starting to get a little twinge of guilt as I rant, this is you. I'm talking to you. How in the world can this father of 3, husband, die suddenly, and his wife is on a GoFundMe campaign to pay the bills? Clearly, he didn't have enough life insurance. He may not have had any life insurance. That is crazy to me, folks, that you would have 3 kids and not enough life insurance. Yeah. I know there's a tiny percent of the population out there that can't get life insurance because they had some sort of genetic disease or they had cancer or something prior to them having kids and they can't go get life insurance. I get it. But that is a tiny fraction of the population. There is no excuse that I can think of that a father doesn't have proper life insurance. I mean, several $1 million of life insurance nowadays is less than $100 a month. It's not expensive. It really isn't. You can get term life insurance, very inexpensive, and there's no GoFundMe page. Your wife and 3 kids will be left behind fine. They would be missing their dad instead of missing their dad and being broke. Unbelievable. People, folks, you're out there listening to this. If you haven't had your life insurance reviewed by someone like me who is passionate about protection first, I'm not jumping in to sell whatever the whiz-bang life insurance flavor of the day is. I'm talking about good, basic, protect the family first. That's me. Send me an email, Kraig at kraigstrom.com, Kraig with a K at kraigstrom.com. Life insurance in your subject line, and let's talk. I will help you get your life insurance correct. Don't just wing it. Don't do it with some person in a cubicle who doesn't know you and doesn't actually have the same level of experience as a 20-year veteran financial planner. Let's do it. Okay? You're not going to pay more for your life insurance because you talk to a 20-year veteran financial planner. You're just going to get better planning. That's the way it works, right? So now I continue this theme because yesterday on the way home, I ended up listening to Dave Ramsey's radio show. Dave Ramsey is the big dog on the talk radio. I think he's number 3 radio show in the country. It's amazing. Always have great respect for the empire that Dave Ramsey has built in his media empire, right? And I ended up just flipping back and forth, and Dave Ramsey's radio show pops on once again at the exact right time to make me mad, right? So Dave Ramsey was doing a sales pitch for his life insurance partner company, that he only uses one particular company and they only recommend term life insurance. That actually makes me sad. Listen to that. You got a life insurance brokerage firm that, because of their affiliation with Dave Ramsey, they have to proudly say, we only ever do term life insurance. There's 100 types of and different ways to put life insurance together and many reasons for different kinds of life insurance. But this firm, because of their affiliation with Dave Ramsey, and of course, he is the cash cow that feeds them, so they have to be proud and say, oh, we only do term life insurance. That's all we do. Well, that's really actually just says that you are not a complete life insurance provider. Why would I ever want to work with a company that only does one flavor of life insurance, that doesn't ever tell me about anything else? So here's the example, right? So Dave Ramsey was doing a sales pitch for his life insurance partner, and he used this example that just floored me, right? He said that if you have a special needs child. Special needs child could be a child with muscular dystrophy, could be a child with mental or special disabilities, could be a child that could have Down syndrome, could be a child that special needs is I've met, for example, adult children in their 50s who are technically special needs children because they can't work. Right? I met a son in his 50s who had brittle bone disease, and he really just has to be at home careful all the time. He really can't work physically out in the world because it's just too risky for him to end up breaking a leg or an arm. So he's been a special needs child for his whole life and will probably live into his 70s and 80s, right? So Dave Ramsey said, if you have a special needs child, you better buy a big term life insurance policy. Of course, that fit for the advertisement he was doing. He didn't go into much detail. That made me wonder, right? Had he ever gone into greater detail around the question of special needs planning? Because, folks, this is the kind of 30-second soundbite advice that Dave Ramsey gives out that is incomplete and ultimately damaging and wrong. So yes, he did go into greater detail. On his website, a question came in from someone named Christine. And here's the question. I'm going to read it directly from the Dave Ramsey website. Okay? So Christine wants to get a will for her 17-year-old special needs daughter. She can't get work, and Christine wants to know that they can set up guardianship for her. This one is a bit complicated, but not for Dave. So listen to this. I'm going to read it one more time because I do get a bit fried, so I get a little stumbled on my tongue there. So Christine wants to get a will for her 17-year-old special needs daughter. She can't work, and Christine wants to know how they can set up guardianship for her. This one is a bit complicated, but not for Dave, right? It's not complicated at all for Dave. The answer, as far as a will goes, you can assign guardianship to the child, and there is a special needs trust that you can set up and be assigned to her. You leave money in that trust to care for her under the direction of a trustee. You can direct the trustee to invest the money however you see fit. I would invest, this is Dave Ramsey giving advice, I would invest in stock market investments with good long-term track records. Upon your death, you fund that with the money you leave at your death. Upon your death, you fund that trust with the money you leave at your death. Until you have that cash in place, have term life insurance. Okay. So here's the bottom line. So the answer was, yeah, you can definitely take care of that for your 17-year-old special needs daughter. You could get a will and a special needs trust. Let me clarify. The correct answer is get a full-blown estate plan, a living trust, and a will, and the living trust includes a special needs provision for the 17-year-old daughter. So number one, the advice about just getting a will and not clearly saying you really should get a living trust to wrap around the special needs trust, that is incomplete advice. It's not accurate, right? It's, again, a 30-second soundbite. It's not real advice from a real planner or a real attorney, right? Second, if you heard the end there, basically what you need to do with your special needs daughter at 17 years old is right now go buy a big term life insurance policy in case you die beforehand, because Dave Ramsey, he always says this, you don't need any life insurance when you're retired, for example, because you will have saved up plenty of money. You'll have plenty of money. You don't need any life insurance. So here's exactly the answer inside this response was, just invest in stock market investments with good long-term track records, and when you die, you fund the special needs trust with the money you leave behind. In the meantime, you get term life insurance. All right, that is complete BS, hogwash, terrible advice. Let's break this down. A 17-year-old special needs child with a mental disability, for example, could have a life expectancy nowadays of 90 years old. Right? You can have a mental deficiency, a disability, and be physically healthy. I have neighbors and friends and people that I know with children in that exact situation. And the kids could live a long life, really long life. So invest in stock market investments. I seriously think, this is just a side note, I seriously think that Dave Ramsey is some kind of a Wall Street shill, some kind of a deal with Wall Street under the table on the payroll for some big investment company, right? I don't know, but the money I leave for special needs would be sacred. I don't know about your situation, but do you really want to risk that, right? They absolutely need that money, and investing it in the stock market sounds like just winging it in the stock market casino. Sounds like maybe a bad idea to just go invest it in the market. That's just me, folks, right? But every single one of Dave Ramsey's answers to questions like this is always invest, invest, invest. He's like some kind of Wall Street shill. I swear, it's just weird. How can he be just so flat out one tune all the time? Wall Street, Wall Street, Wall Street, invest, invest, invest. Seriously, he's got to be having some really nice Wall Street parties somewhere. I don't know. Now, upon your death, you fund the trust with money you leave at your death. And until you have the cash in place, have term life insurance. So let's go into some more detail. Okay, this is a 17-year-old. That would make mom and dad, let's say, 45 years old. Let's have mom and dad live to age 85, which is another 40 years. So in 40 years, daughter will be 57 years old with a plan for her life to go to age 90. So that's 33 years. So daughter could theoretically and very likely live 33 years beyond mom and dad. All right? Now remember, we have 40 years to go before mom and dad are dead, right? But 33 years the daughter could live beyond them. The daughter needs a place to live, food, medical care, care providers, and some kind of lifestyle. So let's say that she lives in California where it's not cheap to live. Let's break down just some of the costs. If mom and dad left her a paid off house, so following Dave Ramsey's advice, they paid off the house. Great. So they leave daughter a paid off house in California. Thankfully, the taxes will not go up. Hopefully, they leave her a house that's not too big. But let's just say it costs $12,000 a year, minimum, as just upkeep on the house. That's probably low. But let's just say $12,000 a year in taxes. It's probably closer to $15,000 when you add in taxes and maintenance and electricity and expenses. Let's just say $12,000, right? $12,000 a year, just upkeep. Now, as a special needs patient with mental disabilities, mental challenges, adult daycare, when mom and dad are not available, right? Mom and dad are not available anymore. Daughter's going to need adult daycare. She's going to need people to help keep an eye on her, make sure that she's okay. That's at least $37,000 a year, minimum. It's minimum $3,000 plus a month. That's a significant cost, folks. That's huge, right? So, minimum $12,000 a year medical cost. I'm completely guessing because that is a huge unknown. Even if she has Obamacare, for example, there is all kinds of things that may not be covered, and we don't know what will be covered in the future, right? Minimum $12,000 for food, entertainment, clothing. I'm just spitballing here. I have no idea. But my point is this. In my very unscientific example, her cost of living could be as high as $73,000 a year when mom and dad are dead, right? Now, mom and dad are going to be alive, paying the bills, right? But what we have to do is we have to get ready for when mom and dad are dead and gone and not there to pay the bills. And how many years did we say daughter could live after mom and dad died? 33 years. Folks, listen to this. If in those many years before mom and dad die, right, we don't have gigantic inflation, which we will, using today's numbers, 33 years of very basic, unscientific example here, living in cost of living expenses for special needs daughter is $2.4 million. $2.4 million. And if you inflate those numbers over her 33-year lifespan, that's $4.4 million. $4.4 million. Now, let's go back to Dave's plan. All you need to do is save for your own retirement and save another $2.4 million for your special needs child. You must do it before your term insurance expires. Now remember, term insurance policies are priced low and designed to be gone before you are. So what then, right? That's an impossible target to hit. You're going to save for your own retirement and save up investments of $2.4 million because Dave says, no, don't get any kind of cash value insurance. Don't get any kind of permanent life insurance that might be there to permanently protect your special needs daughter. You just need to pinch and scrimp and save and really sacrifice your own retirement and lifestyle to save up another separate account with $2.4 million in it, in addition to your own retirement, right? You must do it before your term insurance expires, of course, because Dave Ramsey would only ever tell you to get term insurance. That's insane, folks. It is an impossible target to hit. So what is the answer? What is the answer? The answer is this. Dave Ramsey is wrong. Wrong. This is a perfect example of a situation that calls for permanent cash value life insurance planning. Permanent cash value insurance is the only financial product that can guarantee large amounts of money for relatively low cost, literally pennies buying dollars of protection in the future when you really want to leave that protection behind. And you don't want that protection to be left to the Wall Street casino. Dave is always shilling for that Wall Street casino as the answer to everything. Literally, pennies buying dollars to guarantee money for this daughter. The correct answer in this case, if this person had spoken to a real financial planner, not a fake financial entertainer, but a real financial planner, here's my answer. Get a living trust in place and make sure that it includes a special needs provision with asset protection for their daughter. Asset protection is an important component that needs to be built in. Buy a large term life insurance policy today. Absolutely, buy term insurance. Buy a smaller cash value policy that is designed to have an increasing death benefit. When the term policy period expires, the permanent cash value policy can be designed to grow up in death benefit to cover the protection needs for daughter. Done right, the parents can still save for their own retirement without sacrificing on one side or the other. Okay, these are one of those moments where you got to imagine poor Kraig driving along on the freeway or the road in California, and I hear this deal from Dave Ramsey, and my brain just goes 100 miles an hour. This just drives me nuts. Bottom line, Dave Ramsey is wrong. Dave Ramsey is a financial entertainer that gives out 30-second sound bites of advice. In many cases, that advice is horribly wrong. This is one of those cases. If you or a friend or someone that you know, of course, has a special needs child, and they have never met with a financial planner like myself to really talk about planning for their special needs children and their special needs child and their life after mom and dad, I am so passionate about this that I want to help. Send me an email, Kraig@kraigstrom.com, and put special needs in the subject line. Kraig with a K @kraigstrom.com and put special needs in the subject line, and we'll definitely make arrangements to connect. I want to help. I want to make sure that you remember my New Year's resolution. I want to help you get your living trust in place, your estate plan in place. If you already have a living trust, if you already have an estate plan that's more than 3 to 5 years old, it needs to be updated. Every plan should be looked at at least every 5 years, right? If you don't have one, take advantage of a complimentary assessment with me. If you have one, take advantage of the complimentary review. I want to help you get your life insurance in place, done right. You already have life insurance? Great. Take advantage of my complimentary review. If you don't have any, take advantage of my complimentary review. You won't regret it. It's really important. Make this your New Year's resolution and your year that you're going to get this done. That's going to wrap it up today. Quick retirement income reminder. Don't forget, Wall Street has a plan for you and you're not going to like it. If you want to have your own retirement income plan reviewed and go through that, I'm your guy. I am the income engineer, and I am passionate about protection, savings, and growth. In that order, I'm your guy. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Personal Pension Radio podcast. We took notes for you, so if you missed any part of the show, you can find a full transcript of each episode at personalpensionradio.com. Be sure to download your free retirement income crisis report at personalpensionradio.com. While you're at it, we would appreciate some iTunes love. Please leave us a fantastic rating on iTunes by going to personalpensionradio.com/iTunes. Thanks again for listening. Now for the disclosure. Information presented is for educational purposes only and is not intended for solicitation, sale or purchase of any security or financial product. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and your tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed here. The term personal pension refers to a marketing name designed to educate future retirees and retirees about the economic principles behind creating their own pension-like income. The term personal pension is not intended to be confused with a defined benefit pension plan offered by an employer or by a government entity.